Smoke
medical
weed every day.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour represent Ryan Hoppe and Fast It. Listener discretion is advised.
Live from Tampa Bay, you are tuned in to Hoppe Hour.
He's the voice of a generation that got screwed by the baby boomers. Welcome back to Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour starts in 4, 3, 2, Hoppe. Hoppe, Hoppe. This is Hoppe Hour with Hoppe.
What's up, Mo on the radio? How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, man? I feel so honored right now. Can I eat snacks during this?
Of course you can eat snacks during this. Whatever the hell you want to eat, you can do.
We need Pirates Booty to immediately sponsor this podcast.
This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and right now, right next to me, you can hear him every afternoon on 99.5 QYK. It's Mo on the radio.
Thank you, sir. You don't have any clapping sound effects?
I can work on it. I can
totally
go to YouTube.
Totally kidding. No. Thank you for having me. Seriously, I feel honored, honestly.
When I heard that Mo Bounce would be joining Beasley Media Group, I was like, this building, which is already very talented, is a lot more talented. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, thank you for that. My head is going to be enormous by the time
Oh, no, that's the only compliment I'm doing. I'm not going to kiss your ass the whole time.
All right, good.
So what the hell happened? Why'd you leave Z100?
So I didn't leave Z100. I was fired.
Oh, that sucks.
No, it was. I was broadcasting at home, during the pandemic. Up in New Jersey and in New York, it was just a lot more. I don't know what's the best word to say.
Uptight.
Yep, absolutely. Perfect word, Ryan. Thank you for that. Anyway, so I was broadcasting home from like March 2020 all the way until I was laid off. That's a good word, laid off. I like that.
It sounds better.
I was laid off. But so I wasn't even back at the studio yet, and my ratings were great. Everything was going great. My dad had passed away in the end of March of 2021. Not 2 weeks later, I was supposed to have my weekly Zoom meeting where we're face to face talking with the boss like we did every week, every other week, and then he called me 10 minutes before it and says, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to be on video today." Well, and this other person's not going to be on. It's just going to be you and I. I'm like, all right, it's feeling a little funny. I don't know. So then he gets on Zoom, but he turned his camera off, and he says, "Hey, we're going to have to let you go." I said, "What?" Usually, I don't know. This is the thing. When you're in radio and in different businesses, you could feel in the hallways when something's not right.
I felt that my last 2 weeks in sports radio. There's like a certain vibe where you could tell that people know things, and you're just like, sort of when the moment happens and you get laid off, fired, resigned, whatever happens, you look back on it, and there's moments that you go, oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Well, I felt none of that. Absolutely. Everything we just spoke about, I literally felt absolutely nothing. So it was very much surprised. Like I just said, my dad had just passed away. I just got done burying him, and I get back to New York, and then literally like days later, they're like, "You want to get back on the air?" I'm back on the air because I need to, work because that's what I do best. And then like days after that, they're like, "Hey, we're letting you go. No rhyme or reason." I was number one in the afternoon in New York. I was there 12 years. So everything was great. And then, I was laid off. And then 2 weeks after that, my wife at the time asked me for a divorce. So I went through a divorce. My dad died and I lost my job. So either I was going to be 6 feet underground because people were like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Or you're going to come out on top. So
can I ask you something?
Please do.
That's why I'm doing the show. Is there a part of you, and if you don't want to answer it, it's fine. Is there a part of you that you see the things that happen, you lose your job in radio, your dad dies, but specifically you losing your job in radio and then a divorce following. Yeah. Is there any part of you that thinks that you're actually just with you because you were cool radio DJ?
That's absolutely. I could unequivocally say that.
I had that with my last breakup. I left 102.5 The Bone to make more money at iHeartMedia and did sports radio. Yeah. And like sports radio is cool, but it's not like edgy shock jock radio. And surprise, 2 months later, we're no longer dating. So I feel like I got the best advice from Tony, who was just in here. Okay. He was saying that if a girl is all about like, "Oh my God, you get free tickets. Oh my God, you get this or that." Yeah. That's not the girl to like talk to. Like this girl I'm talking to right now has no idea what I do. And it's brilliant because I feel like she likes me for Ryan, not for Ryan Hoppe, radio guy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it probably was like that from the beginning of my previous relationship, but you have blinders on. She had 2 kids, and I always wanted to be a dad, and I'm now helping raise her kids. You know, I had the whole family kind of persona, but you know, through the years, there was a lot of red tape, and there was a lot of red flags that were flying. That everybody around me was like, "Dude, calm down," or "This has happened." No, it's not. No, it's not. And it absolutely was. And now, after the fact, I find out that she was cheating on me.
Oh, don't you love that?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of things, but you know what? I'm sitting here with a smile on my face because my life now and the woman that I'm with now, you know, we've been dating since I literally had nothing. So when I was out of radio for a bit, I was in nursing school. We can talk about all that stuff.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
But I'm broke. I was broke. And I think I'm about to get my second paycheck here, so I'm still broke.
Yeah.
But I was in school and I'm just working weekends, making like $16 an hour. And the woman I'm with now didn't care about the radio stuff. She's like, I want you to follow that dream if that's what you want.
Yeah.
But you know, it's so different now. It's different when you find. I'm not trying to make this a relationship podcast, but it's so different. And I'm a lot older than you are. So when you find someone who really loves you for you, you know, and you think you've had it. But you didn't. And that's exactly what I'm living right
It's sort of like you saying the last few weeks of a job where you can look back and see the flaws. It's kind of like the last few months of a relationship. You can look back and go, oh, I overlooked that.
Hindsight. Yeah, it's all about all those like red flags that everybody warned you about. You were finally seeing it. But that's the thing. You could listen to people if you want, but more likely than not, you're not going to. You're just going to live your life because you have blinders on. And then you see everything that happened. You're like, oh.
And the worst part is having to say sorry to your bros that you ditched for 2 to 5 years.
Absolutely.
And you're like, sorry, I know you were there for me since day one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a little of that, but mainly it was my own family who were telling me the red flags for years.
Yeah.
And they let me just live it. You know, they were supportive, but they would try to get their little comments and like, hey, did you notice this? Or why? No, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Yeah, it was everything. I just didn't listen to it. But that's life. I mean, we have to learn on our own at times, and everything happens for a reason. So I'm a firm believer in that.
So was there a part of you that always wanted to be a nurse, or what got you into nursing school? So
I've always been a self-proclaimed nerd. When I say nerd, I love all things electronics. I love fixing things. I
can see that.
Yeah, I'm total nerd. You can call me a nerd. In fact, my name is Nerd now. That's just my name. But you could always find me like doing those things as a passion, not as a job. I never did any of those things to make money. And I've always read, when I was younger, I used to read like medical journals.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because I've never been like an uber smart kid. I've just kind of skated through high school. I was decent when I was in drama club and did all those things. But I always loved the medical field and had an appreciation for it. And so when radio went south for me, it was a blessing in disguise because I had other offers. There was an offer in Los Angeles to do mornings at K-Rock. That I declined. I was offered and declined. Everyone was like, how can you decline that? And I'm like, because it just doesn't feel right. I was just into my... Can we curse in this?
Yeah, say whatever the fuck you want. Okay. Was it the current show that's there?
Yeah, it was to be.
So was it
to be with them, to host them, to wrangle them. That's what
I would rather be in nursing school as well.
Yeah, so it was a whole situation where I came to a point in my life where I don't give a fuck. Like I had to have that. I've always been kind of a yes guy, but with a smile on my face and with some boundaries, but never enough boundaries. I put up walls. So I was offered that job. I flew out to Los Angeles. I, in their face, said no to like $350,000 a year. Now newly single guy. Everybody's like, "Are you dumb?" I'm like, "Yep, I guess I am," because it just doesn't feel right. And I'm glad I did because it went to shit. But anyway, and then there was an opportunity to have a syndicated night show in Atlanta through Westwood One.
And you said no to that?
I said no to that too.
Why to that?
Exactly. Well, I'm
not the first one. The first situation I completely get because no one listens. The second one, Atlanta.
Yeah, that was installed like as soon as you start day one, 96 stations, like this big deal, and it just didn't feel right.
Could I have that offer? It sounds amazing.
I mean, it's been a few years now, but you more than
I don't even know if they do it anymore.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of it since then, so I don't even know. But at that point, I'm like, you know what? I want to get into medical. And everybody's like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I started working at it. I moved down here to help take care of my mom in 2021 after divorce and radio and everything else. And I was like, I have a friend of mine that works at a dialysis center, and he's like, that's an entry-level job. I can get you in from New Jersey, but to work there in Florida. So I went through all this training at a dialysis center, sticking people in the arms, doing this, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it and fell in love with that and fell in love with the patients. The patients were awesome because you see the same patients every other day or so because they're coming in for this life-saving treatment. So I fell in love with that. And while I was doing that, I said, I'm going to go to nursing school. Again, what? Yeah. So I enrolled. I'd never been to college a day in my life. So now at that moment, I was 40 years old, and I'm like, I'm going to go to college. Everybody's like, well, dude.
Was this like a midlife crisis? Like,
most people buy motorcycles. I went to nursing school.
Hell yeah.
So I did. I enrolled at Kaiser University. They were great. I did all my prerequisites. I had like almost a 4.0 GPA. I was on the dean's list, and I'm like, who'd have thunk that I could go to college and be decent and like it? So that's what I did. And while I was in nursing school, I was working at a hospital and as a nurse extern. So I was pulling chest tubes, giving IVs, doing injections, doing everything, wiping booties all day.
It's the funniest thing. My mom's been a nurse for like 42 years.
Yeah.
And she has everybody else do the IVs. She does not know how to do an IV.
All the nurses would ask me to do the IVs because I was so great at it and something I love doing. So with their supervision, I would do IVs and do injections and everything else. But and then this opportunity came along. Dom Theodore, who was a very prolific person in radio, and now I think he owns some stations up in Michigan. At the same time, he consults a lot of radio stations, and he helps us out with consulting here at Beasley in Tampa. And he was like, dude, you live right down the road in Tampa. I said, yeah. He's like, do you want to get back into radio? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I was burned pretty bad from my heart. I just felt like the whole thing was a piece of shit, the way I was handled after so many years and great ratings and bonuses, and then they're like, see you later. But, I've been fired before, so I get it. But I'm like, I don't know, man. I love doing nursing. He's like, well, there's this guy there in Tampa I want you to talk to, Rick, who's our boss.
Yes.
And I went and had dinner with him, had a few meetings with him, back and forth here and there. And I quit school and came back to radio. And another moment in life where people are like, what? What are you doing? You had like a job you're about to do where you can make pretty much radio money, good money, but you work your ass off for it. And you're always going to have a job. You're like not going to be laid off again.
Yeah, but the first part is why you didn't do it. All the work. It's like 12-hour shifts, bro.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I was working 12 to 14-hour shifts, which I liked, but I thought to myself as well, I'm like, I'd rather work 5 days a week.
I think
instead of 3 days for however many hours.
The 12-hour shifts would be cool if there was like 32 hours in the day, but it's just like you drive home, eat dinner, and then go to bed, because I saw my mom do it my whole life.
That's what I did. I would go home, I would eat dinner and go to sleep, wake up at 4:30 in the morning and do it again. So
you are identical to my mom with that, only she was getting up at 5:30, but it's the same thing. 5:30, work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., get home at 8, cook dinner, go to bed at 9 or 10 and call it a day.
Yeah. But I mean, it is rewarding. And, I still think that's something that I could do in the future.
Side job.
I don't know about nursing is not a side job. That is full time, takes over your life, almost like radio does. Radio doesn't have as many hours, but it takes over your life
mentally.
It's not a job; it's a way of life. It really is.
People don't get that, man.
No, they don't. And the people who don't do nursing, same thing. They don't really get that. They're like, oh, you're just taking care of it, dude. It's mentally.
You know how it's very hard to be a nurse? Is whenever you run into a nurse on a Friday night at a bar and they're the most drunk in the room.
Oh my God. Absolutely. They're like flight attendants, but more educated.
Or a teacher. Teachers, flight attendants, nurses, vets, all of those.
Yeah, they party hard and they work hard, and then they look like hell by the time they're 45 years old.
Oh yeah, and then they're the ones that keep getting shots at Park and Rec in downtown St. Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
I want more shots so I can feel like shit on my one day off.
They're the ones at Top Golf, not golfing, but at the bar the entire night. That's what it is. But I mean, that's my short story. But yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So I saw you worked with MJ and BJ. That's got to be one of the coolest things ever. Obviously, I worked with MJ for 2 weeks, and I felt like I learned more just watching MJ do his thing than I did at my radio school. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so when I was 17, 18 years old, and I was an intern at 93.3 FLZ here in town, that's where I started. They had me, they're like, oh, we want to pay you. We want you to do the morning traffic. So I'm thinking I'm going to talk.
Yeah.
Nope. I had to go pull it on a cart. Cart is like, I know you know it, but if people listening, cart's like almost like an 8-track. Like that's how I recorded stuff back in late 90s, early 2000s. So I'd have to go to the traffic center, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes. And the traffic center was like some dude smoking a cigar in the corner. He's like, get the traffic. And I put it on this cart and I'd have to run down to MJ and BJ studio and he'd have to put it in the machine to play it on the air. That was my job. And I would be working overnights, interning with like different people who were on the air at the time. And MJ I'd sometimes be late. I'd fall asleep in the traffic room. So Froggy number one, not the current Froggy.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So he would have to come and wake me up. Like that was my first introduction to radio. And then I worked in the promotions department doing, going on gigs and stuff like that.
Did you work with Mike Olivero? Who was in charge of promotions from 98 Rock? He was my boss at 1025. Yeah.
So my initial program promotions director was Joe Mama Johnson.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, he was JOBDONE. That's a very big thing that he used to say. I used to go buy cigarettes for him across the street, Cools, in minimum of 6 at a pack, never a carton. That was his thing.
I think I know what place you're talking about. It's like
it was across the street from Gandy when they were at the Gandy Studios. It was right across the street. It was like a liquor store, and there's always sketch people.
What
outside.
did you think about Gandy? I was there for 6-7 months.
I enjoyed it. I mean, that was my first introduction to radio, like as, a almost 20-year-old
You
dude.
got to see Gandy in its prime, too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You got to see Gandy when it created the legacy that everybody that's like 50 now lives off of. Like, whenever I would talk to someone like Brian Fink and that,
he's still a good friend of mine.
So he's awesome. All these memories they would tell me about jumping off the building.
We used to. Well, Dom Theodore was the program director, the guy I talked about before. He was the program director of FLZ when he was the first guy to ever put me on the air. We used to have weekends where he'd be like, "Oh, we're going to paint the studio." He would buy everybody pizzas, and we'd literally the whole air staff would go in on a Saturday or Sunday while some part-timers on the air, and around the part-time it would smell like pizza and paint thinner in the studio. We would just paint the walls different colors, like literally monthly. That's like the fun culture we had.
Did you hear about the man? I can't believe I'm saying this. One second.
Okay.
Did you hear about the graffiti on the wall of iHeart?
When did this happen? Sorry, I'm eating my snack.
This is all alleged. I'm writing a book called "This Didn't Really Happen."
Okay,
it's part 1.
Yeah. It's all right. Gotta start somewhere.
There was somebody that works there.
Okay,
and another morning show with young talent, like spray painted the walls of Gandy and got into so much trouble.
That story I don't recall. I do have some pretty raunchy stories.
This happened like 2, 3, 4 months ago. This is when we were transitioning.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't hear about this. This is good. This is an alleged story. I like
this. Is totally alleged. It didn't happen. Uh-huh. I love the word alleged, by the way. It might be the greatest word ever.
It is a good word, and it really just releases you from everything that's important.
Because there's no truth to spray painting the whole entire building with phallic symbols. I mean, did not happen.
Not in Tampa.
No, not at all.
Never. Alleged.
You were a part of the debauchery, though. You were telling me things off air, and you were telling me things off air, and I kind of took part in some of that working at 1025.
Yeah,
but it was a little different because everybody was in their 40s and 50s, so it kind of felt like dinosaurs doing it. That's not a shot at Mike Calta, but it was like they were older, but they were doing things from the 90s. But you were doing it like for the first time ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I used to be on Kane. God rest his soul. By the way,
legend.
I was his intern along with Munchie, who was still at the iHeart studio.
That's why Brian likes all our posts.
Yeah,
whenever I post anything about you, he's the first one.
Oh, that's nice. I love Munch, but we used to do some dumb shit.
He's told me.
I can't say some of them. I will not say some of them. But they just like send me out to like Taco Bell, like in the FLZ vehicle, and like, be like, here's an air horn. You're gonna be like 20 feet in front of the drive-through. Just take everybody's order and just tell them a random number what they have to pay. That the actual drive-through is broken. Well, after a few times doing that, the manager would run after me. There was one time where me and Munch had to go pick up a Tampa prostitute.
Hell yeah, Nebraska Avenue?
No, yeah, absolutely. And bring her back to the studio so Kane can interview her, like interview with the prostitute. But we got held at knife point. I mean, it was this whole thing. We the dumbest shit we did. The dumbest shit.
All I'm going to say, radio people love Nebraska Avenue.
Yeah.
That's their spot, dude.
Yeah. Well,
that and Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
Radio
I didn't expect
people,
you to hear that.
Radio people and Carol Baskin love them some Nebraska Avenue. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
I reached a level recently where I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a healthy way. Not like I'm going to start breaking all the rules way.
Yeah.
But I don't hold back as like I did a year ago. You know?
Yeah, I think you're getting more comfortable with, first of all, this is yours. This is your podcast. This is your thing. And you get to talk to some awesome people on these podcasts, excluding myself. But amazing people.
Why do you talk yourself down? That is the most radio DJ thing ever.
Hey, everybody.
I'm so happy, but when the mic turns off, I fucking hate myself.
No. Dude, I totally love my life. And I've just learned so much through the years, and I can't take anything seriously. I just can't.
Radio is funny because sometimes the most real talks is during a 5-minute commercial break off air.
That and massive dumps. That's the best time to take a dump.
Oh, hell yeah.
Stop sets? Oh,
dude,
God,
1025 The Bone, they have like 18-minute commercials. Best time to take the morning dump. Check Twitter. It was great.
You could even check Twitter, take a dump, and then delete your Twitter all within one commercial
You could literally run a marathon during some commercial breaks.
And then you could join Threads and still have time to go back
Threads
to the studio.
is Google Plus.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking lame.
I'm on it.
Because you know what I don't like?
I have to be on it. I got notifications.
On my Twitter, I like follow people I want to follow. It's showing me people that I A, don't follow, and B, are my Facebook friends. So it's pretty much people I don't want to see on Twitter.
Well, see, I deleted my Twitter during the pandemic. It was too much bullshit.
I know, I can't find you on there.
Yeah, because I'm gone. I deleted it after I never wanted to be on Twitter, but I felt like I had to. When you're in radio, you have to be on all the platforms. I genuinely use Instagram the most because that's like what I'm drawn to. But Twitter just got me so mad between politics and the woke stuff and social justice and everything else, which are all very important things to a lot of people, which is fine. But the arguments, I could not. Even when I was not arguing with anybody, I found myself in these arguments, and I'm like, this is fucking up my mental health. So I deleted it, no problem. I was like, all right. And I haven't missed Twitter, honestly. But I do like seeing all the drama with Twitter now that Elon is there. So it's interesting.
The scariest day on Twitter was like around like the George Zimmerman era.
I mean, all social medias were pretty. It was just a time. What a time to be alive, honestly.
Remember the Facebook Lives of Minneapolis under fire?
Oh my gosh, dude! I had to disconnect that. It really ruined me mentally. Like I've had
Derek Chauvin fucked me up. Seeing that was just not cool.
Yeah, I mean, all of it was. First of all, besides it getting you angry, I got sad.
Well,
I have anxiety issues, and I hit during the pandemic. I reached a rock bottom. Then my dad died and everything else, and mentally, like I had a nervous breakdown. So I had to delete Twitter.
I'm fucking insane too. And when I worked at The Bone, you were talking about George Zimmerman and that. Wait, not George Zimmerman. What's the guy from Minneapolis? Not George Zimmerman. That's the guy from Orlando.
Chauvin?
Yeah, Chauvin.
Yeah, Chauvin.
Who's the guy that died in Minneapolis?
George Floyd.
George Floyd. I said George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
With George Floyd dying in May and June 3 years ago, we would take phone calls. And what I'm about to say doesn't represent all the listeners of where I worked at, but we would get some racist people that were defending.
Of course.
And it was like, how can you think that way?
Yeah.
Are you, because I'm a Chicago kid. People say I'm very cultured because I listen to rap music and I watch The Wire and that. Like, I vibe more with that urban culture than I do country music sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't feel a racist bone in my body. And then when like you hear some of the things that people think, you're like, Jesus Christ, like racism did not die.
Well, something like that is always going to be around, but and I think for a long time, people have really lost their faith in humanity because of shitheads like that. But I always find for every shithead, I met someone or came in contact randomly with 10 people that were even nicer. So I believe that we're going to be okay.
We are.
I don't think anything
okay.
negative is ever going to go away. No matter how. I don't care what politician. I don't care what side. All that's bullshit, if you ask me. I think at the end of the day, we need to take care of our families. We need to raise kids the right way, and it all starts at home. It really freaking does, man.
So
they hear their parents.
This is gonna make you feel old, but I was 15 when Obama got elected.
Yeah, you're fucking young. See, I could have said I'm fucking old. Yeah. I'm just gonna say you're fucking young.
And I was like, racism is dead because Obama got elected. I was so happy, and I remember I was thinking, oh, it's gone forever. Nope.
No, I mean, what are you gonna do? I try not see. Remember when I said I deleted my Twitter? I haven't watched the news. I mean, I get my news now from like little snippets on different pages I follow, but I can't watch any freaking channel. None of them. I can't do it.
If you want a good mix of national and local, ABC Action News Tampa's app.
Okay.
And it gives you the alerts. I signed up for it during COVID.
Yeah. I definitely have a lot of those apps, and that's how I get my notifications.
That's all the notifications. And TMZ are the two I have.
I do get TMZ because I love a good
TMZ.
I love drama for your mama and your mama's mama. Love it.
That's all I'm about. Barbershop talk, bro. That's all I want.
But to me, that's like that in comedians who are not. Who speak freely and still be comedians that can make fun of every race.
Tom Segura, have you watched him?
Yes.
I watched it last night with my friend Romeo from the promotions department.
Oh, yeah.
I was at his house and he was sober, but I drank like a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
I feel like one of those nurses when they go to the bar and they're letting loose. That was my letting loose.
That's you. All right.
Like, that was me at his house when we were watching Tom Segura. And man, he might be one of the last of the comics that doesn't give an F.
Yeah.
Like, he was just making fun of everybody. And a lot of comedy died to me when Trump got elected because they became like too political and they thought that they were like changing the world.
Well, I just think they spent too much time on him. Like, listen, we could all laugh at him and any politician at this point.
Yes.
But when every politician is making fun of one person, it all melded together. And I was just like, okay, well, now what? That's how I took it. And I think people are getting away from that now, and they're just making fun of just everybody instead. And I think that because that's why it was everybody, because I did stand-up comedy when I was in New York, and I did stand-up at Caroline's on Broadway.
Really?
Yeah. So I dabbled in it. I didn't get paid a dime. I did like the amateur nights, but it was fun. And it's something that I did. I wrote material. I had
Who did you
nights.
see there? Because I know like I'm a huge Opie and Anthony fan. Like, they're the reason I'm in radio. I love the Opie and Anthony show, and they had so many comedians went there.
Yeah, no, name it. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of
Colin Quinn.
Yes, seen Colin Quinn.
Dude, I am like you know how there's like people that are nerds for anime.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm a nerd for like New York comedy and radio.
I took you as a nerd for furry. Do you wear the furries?
No, I'm not a furry.
Okay,
I'm the most bland person ever.
You came in here with a mask on, you liar. I'm just kidding.
No, I did not come in here with a mask.
The lion mask.
Dude, you need to get like the Mo Bounce Unreal show or something where you do it online and you swear. I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Do I sound different when I say fuck?
You're different here than you are in your afternoon show.
Well, see, so here's the deal. So when I got hired here, Rick was like, and I'm like, hey, I'm not. Like, I actually enjoy country music, and I like it, and I enjoy the artists.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I'm just not someone that's going to be like, what's up, y'all? Like, that's just, he's
Howdy,
like, dude,
y'all.
he's like, I don't want you to say anything that's not natural. I want you to do the same show you did in New York because you were entertaining, you were yourself, you were goofy, you were funny. So when I take callers and I do funny, you probably don't listen to all of it, but I get some calls, and when I air them on the radio, I'm like, damn, this is like a top 40 type thing, but that's when I get the best reaction. People are like, man, you're livening up afternoons. You're having fun. I could tell you're smiling. Like, that's all I'm doing. I'm not being any which way because I don't know how to be any. I can't be like, how do we make this more country? How do we make this more hip hop? No, I'm just going to be me. Like, if I could do the same, if I could still be me, I don't care what music I'm playing on the radio.
I saw you and I don't want to rat you out at the Luke Combs show. I saw you and Scotty talking for a few minutes.
Okay, yeah.
I adore Scotty Davis.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite people.
We've known each other for over
iHeart.
20 years. I mean,
I used to, when I did the afternoon show before I went to mornings at iHeart, me and him would hang out for hours on end at work.
Yeah.
And I think
he's a good dude.
I think it's exciting to have you guys going up against each other.
Absolutely. We talked about that. Yeah.
Two energetic top 40 people doing country afternoon radio.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good for Tampa radio having you two there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm having fun. Like, I'm not focusing on, because in radio, it's always been an old school thing in radio. It's like, oh, there's the competition. Don't talk to him.
Now, if it's
pass by him and say "fuck you," like, no, I'm not going to do that. And no one has, and for the record, no one's ever told me here to do that. But I mean, that whole mindset died years ago. I mean, I hope it did anyway.
No? You know who seems to have created it? Fucking Bubba the Love Sponge is the one who created it.
Yeah,
because then he passed it down to Mike Calta, and it's been passed down to me. It's like generational trauma. It's like they think that's what you got to do. It's like a mind. It's not dead, my friend. Trust me.
So our boss, Rick, was my competition boss when I was in New York.
Yes.
And that's how I have this job because
Hell yeah.
Because I wasn't a dick to him and he wasn't a dick to me. And we were just in radio together. And the reason why I got this job is like, dude, I listened to you, even though I worked for the competition, you always sounded great in New York. So when he was hiring me here, I'm like, do you need like a demo? Do you need like an air check? Or like, dude, I listened to you all the time when we were up in New York. I know what you sound like. That's it. You're hired.
Yeah.
So like, it just goes to show you can't burn bridges because you could work for the competition one day. Scotty could be a program director of a station. I want to be it. We don't know.
I've worked at every fucking company in this town.
Yeah.
That's the most frightening thing ever. It scares the shit out of me that I've worked at every company.
But there's nothing wrong with being friends and having a network and that person may be working at the competition.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share my trade secrets or things like that, but I'm never not going to be cordial.
I need to hug
cool.
Scotty. I'm just going to be real. Scotty's one of my favorite humans.
Yeah, dude, I've known him for over 20 years.
Both
He was at
insane.
he was at KDWB in Minneapolis when I was actually he's older than me and he was on the radio before I am, so I looked up to him.
Yeah.
At first, a few years before I got on the air. So and through the years, I've always kept up with him. And how can I, It was one. Okay, So if I saw him the other day and he was like, "Hey there, fuckface," then I would be a dick. But if you're not going to be a dick to me and we could just sit there and be like, "Dude, what's up, man? How you been?" And like, there's no reason why we can't just be human beings to each other. I don't know. So I'm never going to be that guy.
But the real part is that QYK is better.
Well, it is. And that's unfortunately, Scotty.
Because we're live and local.
Scotty, I love you, but we're better. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Scotty, let's have a beer, buddy.
No, dude, I love seeing him.
Yeah.
There are some competition, though, that if I never see them again, I am so cool with that. There's some people that I just... I got to be careful how I word this because I actually forgot that people listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
And there's been times I've said things this year and then it's gone back to people and it's been kind of a big thing. So I got to be careful what I say. But there's just some people in this... Not even just this market, but just in radio, that you're like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, I know.
You're just talking into a microphone, into the archaic thing that I love known as radio. You are nothing at the end of the day.
Well, listen, I think that I say this to a lot of people who are not in radio, but radio, we're artists. I know we're the freaking bottom of the totem pole when it comes.
Lowest.
Yeah, but we're arguably halfway in the dirt. But
yes,
we're seeds. So the thing is, this business and artists are always run on ego. I don't care if you paint for a living, or on the radio, or you're in movies. Whether it's good ego or bad ego, this job we're fucking sensitive at times. So when someone says we sound like shit, or someone's or they don't like listening to us, we feel it. And so we want to keep doing better, but you're never going to please everybody. And that's what this business is. I could have how many people listening, but it's never going to be everybody loves Mo.
And the thing with the listeners, God bless them. They are fucking awesome.
We need them.
But sometimes either a radio show will spread incorrect info about you, or something will be portrayed one way, and they think they know how it went down, and they'll message you and tell you things, and you almost feel bad for them that they A, believed what the person said, and B, this is not me projecting, B, that it's almost like it's my life.
Yeah, it's fake news. There's a lot of fake news out there.
Oh, half the business is fake news.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah. But
it's insane. But then again, it's like if people are talking about Hoppe or Mo Bounce or whatever, then you're fucking winning.
Yeah.
As long as they're not saying that you hurt animals, kids, or are a pedophile, you get a DUI, even though that's okay in this town.
That's why they have Vespas. There's so many in this town.
No. But literally, if you're doing anything else but those 4 examples,
No, you're right. I mean, but again, the whole I don't give a fuck mode came to me, and I've now fine-tuned that and honed that to be nice but not give a fuck.
No,
so that's where I'm at.
I don't know if it's because I'm turning 30 in like less than 2 months. I don't care anymore. I care a lot, but I don't care. Like I feel very fearless. Like you can do whatever. I don't care.
You're passionate. Yeah, that's what it is. You don't give a shit, but you're passionate.
I am.
Yeah, there you go.
I want my bosses to be happy with me. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But anybody outside.
We all work for somebody, so.
Unless you sign my paycheck or give me hours or the podcast room, I don't give a fuck what you think because you don't know shit.
Yeah. And as you get older and you're in this business, there's an measurable amount of mounting feelings of having to look a certain way. Because radio is no longer the media where you just listen to our voices. Everything, there's video requirements, online requirements, picture requirements. I have to look good. I have to do this. I have to look good this way, look good that way. But at the end of the day, you got to care about what's really real, because we are all replaceable. New York was a big, I made a ton of money in New York. I was making a shitload of money, and that all went away overnight, and I was replaced within days. And that woke me up. I knew, we all say it, and we go, man, we're all replaceable. But until you go through that and you see it, then you go, okay, now I need to smell the roses a little deeper.
Yes.
Now I need, and that's just what it is. So that was my wake-up call. It sucked in the moment, but it was a blessing now, because it rid my life of all the bullshit, ex-wife, the feelings of my father passing away, all the negative things in my life were reborn again with my life now, and because I was fired. So that's
getting fired or laid off or
that's right. Resigned. We're not saying fired, laid off. That's right. It does sound bad.
Mine was resigned because iHeartMedia was like, we wouldn't be against you working here in the future, and we don't really want to fire you, so let's have you resign.
Yeah.
So I sent a letter. I went, "Dear Tommy, I am resigning. Thank you."
And
Ryan Hoppe.
And I love Tommy.
Tommy Chuck's a fucking man.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
I would go to war for Tommy. I did. Him and Brian Donovan and Chris Sektig, they're fucking awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of great people. I don't have the same amazing memories or nice things to say about everyone in New York.
Yeah.
And the thing about New York is that if in the beginning when I got there in 2009, it felt super open, no egos. And then as the years went through.
When did that change?
A new program director got there in 2015, and with Sharon Daster and Tom Pullman hired me. I was like one of Tom Pullman's last hire before he went up the chain to like corporate, to like VP of talent or whatever he is.
Wow, that's a lot.
But I love Sharon and Tom. But the new PD that came in after Sharon stepped down, it just changed the whole trajectory of the radio station. And now I can honestly say, being a radio professional and listening to that station, non-biasedly, I know I'm off the station, but I still get messaged. I was laid off 3 years ago. I get messaged till today, dude, it's not the same. We miss you here in New York. Or that station sounds so horrible now. What's going on there? And I don't know what to tell them. I just know that it's not. And so then that piqued my interest. And I've been listening recently for hours on end at points, like on the weekend or like at night. And it does not sound good. It doesn't have that larger-than-life Z100, biggest top 40 station in market number 1. It does not have that sound anymore. And I'm like, what the hell happened?
My old job's doing just fine, and I have not listened a second.
Yeah.
The only time I've listened to 102.5 is if I'm at a red light and it's like a truck driver blaring it, and I hear it.
Yeah.
Besides that, it was legit a divorce. It was just...
Yeah, I know. That's how I feel about Z100 New York. Listen, I was there for 12 years. I had great opportunities, wonderful memories. I made amazing money. I hustled my ass off. But
did you save any of this amazing money?
So I did not. Well, no, I did. Let me preface it. I did save, but during the pandemic, we were told to keep working, but we were being furloughed. So at the same time, I probably doubled my salary in endorsements. So I was making 6 figures in just endorsements.
Damn.
So during the pandemic, that all went away. Dude, it was just money. Trust me.
2019 must have been crazy.
Yes.
2019 was the best year ever.
So when all that money goes away, when all these companies are like, it's a pandemic, we don't have any marketing money. So you're talking 6 figures went away overnight and never came back. And at the time I was raising a family, and I was still married and everything else. You had a separate lifestyle by then. I had 4 cars. I had a $4,500 a month townhome. I had this, I had that. Not that I was rolling in dough.
That's pretty baller.
But I was able to afford it easily.
That's pretty baller.
So when that goes away, I had to live off of everything I was saving for over a year with the whole family because my ex refused to work. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Whatever.
Yeah, so...
Cloud chasing.
So, yeah, it was... So I spent all that money because we had to survive. I paid rent. I paid all my credit card bills. All the things people stopped fucking doing.
Those are some red flags.
All the things everybody stopped doing during the pandemic, I kept doing it. I'm like, I'll pay my $300 a month credit card. I'll pay my $900 a month Escalade payment. I'll do all that.
Escalade baller over here.
Yeah, it's all gone, bro. All gone.
It's all items.
They were all items, man. They all had to go. And I had to really see and that to happen to me to notice that it didn't give a shit. Like, it didn't matter. Worth a shit. It doesn't.
I think about that for like my old radio job of 7 years and all the perks I had and all the memories in that.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here talking to you in a production room. Like, no offense, but I just go, what the fuck happened?
It's fine. I feel fine.
Everything's fine. Nothing went wrong.
Nothing happened. It's fine.
That's what I tell myself
Crying
every day.
and rocking in the corner.
Yeah, literally.
No.
The worst is crying while driving because then you feel like you're going to crash.
I know, because your eyes are all blurry.
So then you like park in your like, let's say if you live in an apartment, you're in your parking lot or you're wherever you live. When you park at home, I just begin crying sometimes. Yeah. It's crazy.
But it's good to have a good ugly cry once in a while. It's all right.
Every once in a while. Mine's like every 2 days.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I never drink anymore. I got so drunk last night. I am so hungover right now. I feel like garbage.
Just get some bread in your belly. You'll be
That's
all right.
why that's why I never drink. It's lame.
Yeah.
I woke up today and I was like, my head hurts. Like, this isn't fun anymore. I thought that was the most fun thing in my early 20s. Oh my God, ruining my brain cells to feel like shit the next day.
So here's the thing, man. I've never been a big drinker, ever.
It runs in my family. So.
Well, I've never, and there's been a couple times I've blacked out and got blacked, but I had
a couple times, man.
Literally just a couple in my whole life.
I don't remember 2015.
Yeah.
2015, early 2016, people will be like, I met you at the bar when you were like 21 and you blah, blah. And I'm like,
I was 21?
I was like, I don't remember 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Everybody will go, I met you one time doing this or doing, like, I'm meeting people working promotion events. And I'm like, I feel so bad because they have like a memory of me and the old radio show I worked on. And I'm like, I don't remember you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. That's the whole I don't give a fuck thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I apologize, but we'll be okay.
Because they'll come up to me and be like, you're Hoppe, right? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh, we met in 2015. There was a Christmas tree giveaway. And I'm like,
what?
I don't even remember the Christmas tree giveaway.
Yeah. I don't know. What are Christmas trees?
Yeah.
I was there? What?
Dude, you should have dabbled in talk radio. You would have done good.
Oh, man, I was going to. So there was a time where I was going to do that during, and I've done a couple podcasts and stuff, but I would one day love to do talk radio. Because I could talk for fucking ever.
It's just, do people want to listen to it? That's the
probably
thing.
not. But you know what? We'll give it a try one day. I don't know. I would love to do talk radio, like edgy talk or like FM talk. I would love to.
That's the only fun talk radio.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to do a political anything. I wouldn't want to have any serious conversation. I'd want it to feel like a podcast on the radio, which essentially that's what it should be like, because that's why people love podcasts.
That's essentially what Opie and Anthony was.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
that's what Howard Stern was, honestly. I mean, Stern was like that, not in the beginning, but more now he is. More now it is. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it now. And it's not even because he's not sexual. It's more... He just sounds so mean. He's so mean. I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
Now. He's older. And the thing is, I met him right before the pandemic at like a charity event he was at and I was at, and we were walking the red carpet, and he was right next to me, and I about shit my pants. I'm like, that's fucking Howard Stern.
Did he say hi to you?
Yeah. So he knew who I was because actually he made fun of me.
Wow, he knew who you were.
He made fun of me my first day on the air in 2009. He'd make fun of all the local radio DJs. He would just rail them. And he made fun of me, so that's how I felt like. I'm like, okay, it's like a coming of age thing. He made fun. He's like, Mo Bounce, this freaking toolbox, and like I was like, yay! He made fun of me. So then I met him, and he knew who I was, but he was not nice, man. And I witnessed him being not nice to a lot of people
at that event.
And then I saw him at another event, the same event, but the next year. And he was equally not. Now his wife is amazing. She's super sweet, super engaging. I can't say the nicest things about him. And then so I was with Elvis Duran at that same meeting. He met with Elvis, and of course Elvis is a huge radio superstar.
I think I heard him talk about that on air.
And he met him too. And I can't speak for Elvis, but what I witnessed, it looked like Howard was not the most gracious either. And Elvis is I don't care who we know. Elvis is the nicest man. Not just radio guy, the nicest person.
I've never heard a bad thing about him, ever.
I mean, I have so many amazing stories behind the mic and behind the cameras about him that I've never met another person like. He's just the most gracious and good human being and he's given me so many opportunities because I'm still the voiceover, the male voiceover voice for his show. I'm the national network voice. So he's the first person ever put me. I've never done voiceovers. He made me blow up in voiceovers. At one point I was doing hundreds of radio stations.
Yeah.
And he's the one that gave me that opportunity. He helped me get to Z100. There was just a lot of things that he did for me that he didn't have to do, and he didn't know me. But he just said, I feel something about you, so I would like to help you.
Would you do, I think they did one Z100 documentary for like the old time Z100.
Yeah.
If they were to ask you about one from the last 20 years, would you do it?
Absolutely. Dude, I have more positive memories than negative ones. I know I'm sitting here talking a little shit because I was burned towards the end, but I think that last administration, the ones that's there now, that's running the radio station, or at least being the talking heads for the people above, I think before that was fucking awesome. I have the best memories.
Were there any people, because I've had this, and I'll say it was with Kelta, where you think he's your boy, and you think he's your friend.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of that bullshit there.
And then once you leave, you're like, I had the better for myself. Like, now you left not on your own terms. You got fired or whatever it was.
I was laid off, goddammit.
But were there any people... Because I've had it where people won't talk to me anymore, and it's like, it's just a fucking job.
Most of the people there did not talk to me.
Isn't that just the lamest thing? Because you think you're building something, and then it's like the thing with the red flags with your ex. You're like...
Hoppy, it's not the worst thing. It's the best thing, because you now know who the fuck is real and who you need in your life and who you don't. And that's exactly what I found out. Absolutely what I found out. Especially, I still talk to Elvis. I still talk to Danielle Monero. I talk to some people behind the scenes that are at the other radio stations there. But most of the people that I work directly with, I didn't love anyway because they are backstabbers. But I'm not going to mention it exactly.
Here's that cheers and applause you wanted in the beginning.
Took you about 55 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Here's 1 hour of the crowd cheering at a concert.
Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, London.
I should just make the next 55 minutes this.
Oh my God, I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, that's it. Dude, actually, if you put this on YouTube just like this, and if we shut up, you'll get so much monetization.